Welcome to Astroventure, the DSLR astrophotography channel.
Hey there, Astroventurers, welcome back. If you're new to this astrophotography channel, my name is George, and this is the astrophotography channel for DSLR and mirrorless camera bodies, combined with the lenses we already own and a simple star tracker like the Skyguider Pro or the Star Adventurer. Well, I'm here in southern Utah, Bortle 1 skies. Absolutely cooking in the middle of the day underneath the hot sun, and if you do decide to come down and get some amazing astrophotography done, consider white t-shirts under the daytime sunlight. It really helps. Continuing on this series of imaging from southern Utah, tonight's target is going to be the Lagoon and Trifid Nebula. Now, I'm here in July, so I need to get these targets before the core starts diving south because, sadly, we're working our way back towards fall now. But here's the thing that's absolutely ideal about shooting in southern Utah with these Bortle 1 skies. Because there just isn't any light pollution in the area of Canyonlands National Park, Dead Horse Point State Park, Goblin Valley State Park, and again, you don't have to be in any of these parks, just this general area. You can find it on a map. You've got light pollution free, clear skies in virtually every direction, and because of that, the color that will pop out of the Lagoon and Trifid Nebula when it's not competing with any light pollution is absolutely amazing. So we're going to go after that target tonight. And then one of the other things that's really cool is that because of the fact that, again, I don't have the light pollution to compete with, I actually find that I don't have to shoot quite as long or maybe push the ISO up as high to get these colors to really pop and come through. I don't know, maybe that's just my perception tonight, but it just seems like I don't have to push it as hard or as long to get it to burn through the light pollution. So I'll join you at the computer, and we'll take a look at the imaging data that I collect for Lagoon and Trifid, and I'll run you through that edit. So we'll join you at the computer. Okay, Astroventurers, here we are at the computer now. So let's go ahead and get into this. This is my stacked image from Deep Sky Stacker. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is hit Control-J, duplicate the layer. Then I'm going to go into my camera raw, and I'm going to bump up the exposure a little bit on this. Not much, just to see it there. Click OK. Then I'm going to hit Control-L. And I'm going to do a quick alignment of my levels. And when I do that, I'm going to work everything off of the red color channel. And so you'll see me each time. I'll take a look at red, see where it is, then move to green, make my adjustment, hit enter, Control L. There's the red. There's the green. That's pretty good. I'm going to go over to the blue, do a quick slide there. Let's get this going. There's the red. Jump down to the blue because, again, I'm going to match everything to the blue. Slide this over. Enter. Control L. There's the red. There's the blue. Not too far out yet. And then once I have this done, I'll do a single arc sine stretch over on the curves. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, so there's the red. There's the green. and there's the blue. So they're pretty lined up. Perfect. Now I'm going to hit Control M, do a single arc sign stretch. Okay, there we go. That reveals the underlying data. Go back, Control L, slide this over a little bit. Not going to clip any data though. There we go. Okay, now, first thing I'm going to do, File, Save As, and we are going to do this Lagoon Edit and Photoshop. There we go. So that way there we save this Photoshop file. Okay, now as soon as that's done, what I will do is save a TIFF file next, and that one's going to be for the StarNet version 2, so that I can go ahead and remove all of the stars. And when I do my edit, I'm solely working on the nebula as opposed to affecting the stars. So we'll give this just a moment while it finishes saving. Okay, now we're going to go File, Save As, and we will save this as a TIFF. And what we're going to do is call this one Lagoon Edit Stars, because this one has the stars in it. And I am going to press Save. I'm going to tell it discard layers and save a copy. I don't need it to be a large bloated file. Click OK. There we go. Next, I'm going to go to that stars file, Control C to copy it. I'm going over to my downloads, and I'm going to go into the StarNet version 2 file, and I'm going to drop it in there. Now, because of difficulty with computers, I had a little issue the first time, so we're going to get rid of this here. Lagoon Edit Stars, that was the first one, getting rid of that, yes. Okay, so let's paste the new one in here, Control V. Okay, there we go, and now we are going to go down to StarNet, and actually what I need to do is get rid of that no stars as well. Apologize for that little edit there. Technology doesn't always work like it's supposed to the first time, so I've had to reshoot this. Okay, so here we go. We open up the application. We're going to go Browse, and we are going to tell it Lagoon Edit Stars. That's the file we want. Now, here's the output. You have to change the file name. No stars, and then over here there's this box for finer tiles, and I'm going to select that. Now the creator of the program has said that it doesn't do a whole lot more for the outputted image. However, I do like what it does, and it is that little extra bit, so I like to click finer tiles. And the last thing you would do is click Run, to which I am not going to click it because apparently StarNet and my screen recorder do not get along. So I'll go ahead and pause the video here at this point, let this start running, and then I'll rejoin you as StarNet is finishing. Okay, so in a few moments, I'll see you again. You can see 100% finish, writing output image, and it is done. And so you just simply click close on the StarNet, and then over here on the side, and I have mine set priority of date modified. You can see here is my Lagoon Edit No Stars. So I'm going to go Control C. I'm going to go back to where I am working, Lagoon Edit. Put this in here. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to open up the No Stars into the Adobe Photoshop. Okay, there we go. That is now open. Okay, now at this point here, you can go into the image, and you can move this around and take a look, see if there's anything you need to clone or get out of it. The StarNet did a really good job at taking out the stars, so I am ready to go ahead and get editing on this. So I'm going to Control L, take a look, see if I need to dial in those levels any. There's the red, the green. Control L, take a look, there's the red, there's the green, there's the blue. Bring this over just a little bit, there we go. Okay, I'm going to go Control M, I'm going to do an arc sign, stretch that data, there we go. Go back over to my levels. There's my red, there's my green. Bring this over just a bit. Let's see here. Check my blue. Stretch that out just a little bit. There we go. Sure. Okay. Slide this over a little bit. There we go. Excellent. Go back into my curves. I'm going to do another arc sign stretch. And actually, I'm going to go Control Z and back up, because as I go further in this, what I should have done is hit the Control J to duplicate, so that if this goes to crud, I can throw it away and go back. But my background layer, the first one where I started editing, that's still good. I'm happy with that. It's the second arc curve stretch that I'm going to do. Control M, and I think it may be too much. So let's see here, into my levels. Let's bring this over. There we go. I'm going to bring that right up till the edge. Okay, enter. There we go. Let's bring this back out a little bit. Good. Okay, now I can see I've got a few little artifact points. There's that one there. Come in here, stretch this out a little bit. And so what I'm doing is I'm using this healing over here, which is the letter J spot healing brush. And I got rid of that little artifact. There's a little bit of green over here. I'm going to get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. There we go. A couple of these little green ones that shouldn't be there. There we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do here at this point, and this is the thing with astrophotography, is that there's a lot of artistic interpretation with this. So I'm good with where I'm at right now, but I want to intensify some of these colors because I'm making it the way I want. So I'm going to hit Control J, and I am going to go into my camera raw. And what I'm going to do is slide some of the vibrance over. I'm going to slide some of the saturation over. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to go into my color mixer. And I'm on saturation. I'm going to push some of these blues up. And I like to slide over a little too far and then come back. There we go. Let's see here. Let's take a look at some of the red and the magenta. There we go. Excellent. Okay. And then I'm going to go into, and there's no exact science to this, a lot of playing with this and figuring out what you like. Let's see here. Take down some of the dehazing. See, I'm starting to get a little bit of highlight blowout there. I'll knock this down a bit. There we go. Take that down. There we go. Excellent. There we go. Do a little bit of darkening there. A little bit of exposure bump. Mess with the shadows a little bit. Taking shadows down, taking shadows up. I think I'm just going to leave those alone. So there we go. Clarity. I'm going to give it a little bit of texture. Now there's a lot going on in here. And what I think I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go, okay, accept this, bring this in. I'm going to duplicate this, Control J. And this time I'm going to add a bit of clarity and color intensity in the Lagoon and the Trifid specifically. And so I'll go back into, and I really should be naming these layers. I'm not good about doing it. Let's see here, this one, point clarity. I'm going to go ahead and name this one. Let's go back in. And I'm going to hit the letter K, and this will bring me in here where I can go ahead and put some specific clarity to it. So, with this brush, the inner circle is a hard adjustment, and the outer circle, it feathers out to be softer in that adjustment. I'm going to come down here and to the clarity. There we go. I'm going to bump the clarity up. I come over here, start painting that on, increase some clarity there. Over here in the Lagoon and the Trifid. Let's see, and then there we go, we bump that. And let's see here. What I think I want to do now, I'm going to put a little bit of black in there. No, I'm not going to. Thought I was, not going to. Add a little bit of contrast. There we go. Do that there. And let's see here. Let's do a little bit of a color push. And I'm going to jump over to the saturation a bit. Push that up just a little bit more there. There we go. Okay. Now, let's see here. Looking through my different layers. There we go. Okay. I think I'm happy with this for the moment. Actually, no, I'm not. What I'm going to do is I want to increase a bit of contrast in here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control J, duplicate the layer, and then I'm going to label this one Burn. Enter. I'm going to come over here. Make sure I have the Burn tool. This is going to darken, so I'm on Burn tool. Coming up here to range, you got shadows, midtones, and highlights. Shadows because I'm looking to darken the center area of the Trifid and those veins. I'm going to go to my magnifying glass. I want to zoom in a bit more, and then let's get back on that Burn tool. I've got it set at 59% more than I want. I'm going to kick it down to 29. Reduce the brush size. And then I'm going to start painting on this. And that was a bit stronger than I wanted to go, so I'm going to hit Control Z. Actually, let me crank this up a bit just so you can see what I'm doing here. So what I'm telling it to do is to burn or darken the darker areas. And so watch here. You can see how that changes up. Now, that's stronger than I want to go. So I'm going to hit Control Z to back up. I'm going to reduce this down. I'm thinking, yeah, let's go 14. There we go. There we go. I like that. I'm going to come over here into the Lagoon. Do some painting in there. Burn that a bit. Good. Excellent. giving it a bit more texture. Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay. Next, let's see here. Because the size of this is growing, and these first 3 layers I'm happy with. I know I'm not going to revert back. I'm going to grab the bottom 3 layers. So I clicked on the first one, and I went to the bottom, held down Shift, and clicked, grabbed all 3. And I'm going to right click and merge these layers, because I know that I'm not backing up that far at this point. Now I'm going to go back to the top layer, and I'm going to duplicate this again, Control J, and this is where I am going to clean up the noise with Noise Exterminator. So there we go. We have noise, filter, RC Astro, Noise Exterminator. I find 75 and 31 works well. You may have saw I'm on the trial. I've been quite happy with this. I find that the program on my computer runs well, runs quickly, and I found that it does a nice job of cleaning up the noise without being too aggressive. I really need to sit down at some point and fiddle around with those numbers more, and see exactly what they're doing at more of a extreme push. So while this processes, I'm happy with how the Trifid is turning out over here and the way the Lagoon turned out. I know that no 2 times that I edit do they ever turn out the same. I don't know what happened, and I'll show it at the end of the video. This time I ended up picking up, on a previous edit, I ended up getting some blue in the Lagoon, which I'd never done before. On this particular time, the blue around the Trifid came out much stronger, and I got more blue out here. Now, sometimes what I will do is, using masks, I will desaturate the surrounding areas to help make my targets pop and become more prominent. However, this time I think I'm going to leave all of this cloudiness in, this nebulosity, and I'm hoping that with the Noise Exterminator it kind of gives it a creamier look, cleans it up, a little less graininess to it, and I don't mind this Milky Way portion coming into it. Not minding some of the blues and reds that are up in here, because I mean, you've got all these gases that are out there, so you know, hopefully Noise Exterminator will do like I want, and then we'll go from there. We'll bring this into the original file, and I'll show you what I do to minimize out the stars, because personally I like smaller stars, and sometimes I desaturate the stars just because I don't want the colors of the stars competing with the object that I'm trying to show. And I also like to minimize the stars, because particularly when you're shooting into the arm of the Milky Way, there are just so many stars that those stars, because of their sheer numbers, can become noise. So here we go. We're almost finished with this process. And I really should have been saving my edits all along for this Photoshop file, just in case. Okay, so that cleaned it up. Okay, let's zoom this in closer. Now, this is with the Noise Exterminator. Taking the Noise Exterminator off, you can see that grittiness that's in there. And so, yeah, there we go. Okay, now what I think I will do though is, because I do want that texture showing up in the Lagoon, I am going to put a mask on here and put my brush on. Make sure that my brush is completely soft here. And then I'm going to paint through to the lower layer. Okay, and the reason being is because the texture of that grit and everything will help to bring out the texture within.
these two nebula clouds here. There we go. Okay, and just in case something locks up, let's go ahead and save this. So this is the Lagoon edit, no stars, and I will change this to a Photoshop so that I have it. And then this other one that you see on the screen, the Lagoon edit, that's the main one with the stars. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit save, let that save. Now on this one, I'm going to hit Control Shift Alt and E. It will give me a layer on the top with all of this stuff committed into that layer. And then this one here, I will Control A to select all, Control C, and actually let me back up on this so you can see what's going on. Okay, so Control A, you'll see the marching ants around the picture. So all is selected on that layer. Control C to copy. And now I'm going to come over to the original image that has the stars on it. I'm going to hit Control V to paste it. There it is. And now what I'm going to do is go over to this layer 1, which is the one with the stars. Okay. And I have that highlighted. I'm going to come up here to Image, and then I'm going to go Apply Image, and then on Layer, I want to click Layer 2, which is that nebulosity layer, and I'm going to come down here to Blending, and I'm going to set this to Subtract, because what I'm telling it to do is subtract that nebulosity layer from the star layer. And then opacity will be 100%, scale 2, and offset 5. As you adjust this offset, that's going to determine how black that layer is. And before I do that, let me see here. Okay, we'll click OK. What I probably should have done was, there we go. Okay, you can see, and actually, let me deselect this one. There was the original unedited. This is it being darkened up, and then in a moment we're going to bring this in. But just so I can show you, I'm going to back this up. Here we go, and let me do this a better way. So Control Z. Okay, Control Z. Sorry, I'm going to back this up a bit. Actually, what I need is Control Alt Z. I apologize between the different. Let's see here, undo layer visibility. Okay. Okay. I apologize for having to back this all up. Okay, I apologize, but you know what? Those are the mistakes that happen. So, and it's not exactly a mistake, but I want to show you this so that you can see. Okay, so this is the nebulosity layer, the layer 2. This is the layer with the stars. Now, I'm going to do this again so that you can see the takeaway. So this is where all our stars were. I'm going to go Image, and then I'm going to go Apply Image. Let's see here. Where did it go? There it is. For some reason, I always lose Apply Image. Okay, now let's do this. Layer 2, that's the one we're wanting to subtract. Here's the subtract, and we're going to tell it OK. Okay, now you can see how much dimmer all of these stars are. Now, as I bring back in the nebulosity layer, I will then set this to screen, and my stars come through. But my stars are a bit muddy, and that happens when that subtraction is done. What I'm going to do, shut off this nebulosity layer. I'm going to rename the stars. I'm going to be better about this. Stars, enter. I'm going to take the stars layer into Camera Raw Filter. And then what I'm going to do is bump some contrast, because I want to get rid of the darker stars. I'm going to bump the highlights, the brightest parts. Okay. I will increase the white. There we go. Now you can see there is some color coming through in these stars. If you like it, leave it. If you don't, what you can always do, and I do sometimes, is I'll push the saturation down, take that saturation out. Let's see here. I'm about happy with it right there. So I've turned down the saturation quite a bit. I increased the contrast. I bumped up the highlights, and then I'm going to take the black and push it down just a little bit, and it's going to get rid of the faintest of little stars from showing up, and I'm going to click OK. Now this will bring it back in. There we go. Now I can bring this in, and there we go. I have layer 2, my nebulosity set to screen. I've got a little bit of stars coming through, and I've got some of the other gaseous clouds in there coming through. So I think I'm actually really happy with this. This is a different edit turnout than I've had on some of the other ones. And usually I don't have all this extra cloud nebulosity showing up, but I kind of like it this time. So there you have it. That was a walkthrough on this particular one, and like I said, some of the features coming out I don't normally get, and I could continue to work this because I see a lot of other veins of dark areas in here that I could develop further. But this was really the benefit of being in a Bortle 1 sky and being able to shoot a good 5 hours worth of data. So I picked up a lot more than I normally would. So there you have it. That's the Lagoon and Trifid Nebula on this particular edit. And like I said, any edit that I do, they're always different from image to image. I never know what it is that I'm going to get.
Well, there you have it, Astroventurers, the Lagoon and Trifid Nebula. Now, I have to say, shooting in this, Bortle 1 skies of southern Utah, it makes the edit a whole lot easier because I don't have color cast coming through. And the other thing is that within the Lagoon Nebula, that center blue within the lagoon, I've never had that show through before. I don't know why, and and quite honestly, any time that I edit something from one time to the next, I always seem to get a different outcome than I did the previous time. But for some reason, this particular time shooting it under these skies here in southern Utah, Bortle 1, I got colors that I've never pulled through before, and it also made the edit a whole heck of a lot easier, not having to compete with the light pollution. So there you have it, Lagoon and Trifid Nebula. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. I would love to see you over at our Facebook group, Astroventure DSLR. It's a community of people using Sky Guider, Star Adventurers. It's staying within that genre. So I'd love to see you over there. And additionally, if you like the video, the content of what we're doing here, consider liking, subscribing, ringing the bell, and share the video out. Help us grow the channel. Until next time, from beautiful Bortle 1, southern Utah, I wish you clear skies and uneventful nights.